President Donald Trump has bizarrely claimed he is the chief law enforcement officer of America, while insisting he knew nothing about the FBI raid on John Bolton's home. Bizarrely claimed he is the chief law enforcement officer of America. This is an article from Time Magazine, June 17, 1974. Headline is "The President Legal Chief?" ? And it's about Richard Nixon and about him refusing to turn over tapes at the time, and how the special prosecutor wants the Supreme Court to force Nixon to turn over the tapes. In the article, it says this: White House counsel James St. Clair says the court should not even consider that question because Nixon is the country's chief law enforcement officer. The article goes on to say, Yale's respected constitutional law professor Alexander Bickel supports that argument, that the president is the chief law enforcement officer. Later on in the article, very long article, Time Magazine, Bickel, who is convinced the president is indeed chief law enforcement officer, and he goes on to make another point. This is 1974, Time Magazine. This is 1980, February 28. Jimmy Carter made some remarks at the White House at a reception for state attorneys general, for district attorneys, and police chiefs. First sentence, I just came from a brief ceremony with Bill Krieger, head of our intelligence division of the FBI. And then he goes on and talks about other things. This is the second paragraph, a transcript of what President Jimmy Carter said, February 28, 1980. Quote, we have a time of great difficulty in our country. And here in the White House, as president, of course, I have to be primarily concerned about our nation's security, about defense, about the maintenance of peace. But that responsibility cannot be separated from my own as the chief law enforcement officer of our country. And he goes on to make other points. As far as I know, nobody's hair caught on fire. Nobody accused the then president of making some bizarre claim. November 5, 1998, the House Judiciary Committee sent a bunch of questions to Bill Clinton for him to answer. First question, do you admit or deny that you are the chief law enforcement officer of the United States of America? To which Clinton said, the president is frequently referred to as the chief law enforcement officer, although nothing in the Constitution specifically designates the president as such. Article 2, Section 1 says that the executive power shall be vested in a president of the United States of America, and the law enforcement function is a component of that executive power, close quote, said Bill Clinton. Did anybody think that Bill Clinton made a bizarre claim that he was a chief law enforcement officer? But President Trump does it, and there's a meltdown. Can you say double standard?
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.